Today I'll be presenting my poster on media literacy and the January 6th insurrection and as it relates to adult education. Misinformation drove people to action on January 6th, resulting in a breach of the U.S. Capitol building. This was driven by Twitter, Facebook, other social media sites, and even traditional biased news organizations. There was a push to stop the steal, which was perpetuated by Donald Trump and his supporters. And then also there was another push by the conspiracy theory group QAnon, which saw Trump as the leader of this war against the deep state powers, and he would be the saving factor of the United States government. This is obviously false, but these sources pushed this agenda, and people did not have the skills needed necessary to identify this bias and these lies, so it resulted in their actions. Traditionally, mass media refers to organizations that either print or broadcast or use the radio, use the TV, use their online presence to push news information with a commitment to honesty, integrity, fairness, and transparency. When we look at social media and even other areas of the internet, there aren't commitments to these moral practices, and that is where the problem lies with misinformation. 60% of people do not trust traditional news sources today, and if you look back in a poll done by the Gallup, 70% of people trusted the traditional mass media sources back in the Watergate scandal. So there has definitely been a shift away from this traditional source to more online sources, particularly social media. And this shift to social media allows for the spread of misinformation or disinformation articles. These articles have not been fact-checked. They, like I said, do not have a commitment to these moral principles. And due to the prevalence of these articles and the spread of them, it allows people who really want to fact-check their own stuff to look into and research topics presented to them and find a variety of information that will support these biases. So there is a deterioration of trust between people and traditional media formats, and social media and other sites have started to fill that gap and become more trusted areas for people to find information on current events. And this is why it's so important for digital media literacy skills to be taught in any sphere that teaches adults, and even starting K through 12. This should really be a topic that's taught for a younger generation. But teaching these adults now will help fill that gap because they didn't get that education when they were younger. And now that they're adults and they have these adult decisions and they're citizens of the democracy, they need to be able to make informed decisions. And media literacy skills will help them in that. And as society progresses into a more digital society, these skills will only become more and more important. Teaching these skills also helps, I said earlier, protect people from cyber crimes and the spread of disinformation, and being able to recognize these persuasion techniques will be helpful in many different areas of life other than just consuming media. And as I said, teaching these skills will not go back and fix any biases that have already been formed. They will not impact any biases that have already been formed. It can only help prevent forming new biases and processing information in the future. So there are several resources I found in my research for this article that could be helpful for adult educators in teaching this to students in their practice. Number one is Crash Course, which is a awesome YouTube channel, and it covers many different things other than media literacy, but they have a section just for media and digital literacy, and it's a collection of really short videos that go through each of these topics and explains them, and it's really fun and it's really engaging and it's free to use. Another source would be Media Literacy Now, which is a grassroots organization that helps lobby for laws related to digital media literacy. And then also it has a section for educators to find resources to help teach them, to help in their practice as well. The third thing that I found is Common Sense Education, which has a section just for educators and best methods to reach students and teach these concepts And so that's something that anyone can use as well. I don't believe there's any kind of sign up. It's just kind of like a listicle with different lists and links to different articles. I hope you all enjoyed my presentation on media literacy, and I hope you will use some of the sources that I mentioned in your future. And even if you don't, just take a moment and just review them, because they are really, really helpful. And after you look at them, you might decide that it's just something that you could easily incorporate into your practice.